Hey everybody, Ivan is here and software is dead is what I claimed in the title of this video. And let me explain what I think is behind of it. I mean, all of my life I've been grinding the hard skills, the learning and reading the books, and I'll be honest with you, I do have a lot of classical books like this. Of course you know this book, it's a very classical book about the programming, how to write a good code, and I like these books. And I do have other very classical book. I think you know the Kent Beck. Kent Beck is a living classic, the test-driven development. Man, that's very classy book. I love it so much. That's explaining how you can write the tests. It's wow, it's really good. Still in Python, and I've been enjoying reading this book since the time when I was a kid. I think when I was 10 or 11, I've been working with my brother and we went to some bookstore and I found on the shelf a book about assembly language. Damn, I was so greedy and I wanted so much that I bought two books in those days. One of them about the assembly language and the second one about the Ajax and the jQuery programming. That was really wonderful because I was thinking how I can use it, I can try it to build it something, and this type of feeling when you're enjoying the process of the programming, that was to me the whole time. And also I started this channel telling you about the Neovim, and I love that so much because it's about the programming and about programming and its essence of the programming when you're typing something in the coolest IDE ever. But yeah, I also do have this type of books when you can learn the programming language by reading books, when you can read the code listings with some examples when they're explaining some part of the language, how it works. That was a wonderful time, and now it's gone. We don't need these books anymore. I'm not going to throw it away because I love the books so much and they still with me all the time. But now it's changing. And also, if you remember the part, I don't know, if you read this book, I do have this book, the Economics in the One Lesson. This guy, his name is Henry Hazlitt. He wrote about the stocking masters, the guy who making stocks, the stuff that you put on your legs. And you need to have a very specific skill to make it by hand. And that's what happens in the beginning of the 20th century, because in the beginning of the 20th centuries, the manufacturers invented the machines and they don't need any more 100 stocking masters. They needed only one person who is managing all of these machines. But people been grinding like this type of skills, mechanical craftsmanship, for quite a while, and they don't need it anymore. They need to find a new place in their lives, and that was a huge outrage those days, and people posting in the newspaper, a lot of yeah, it was a total backslash against the machines. But now we faced with the same situation, and also that happens how much? Like around 26 years ago, when the digital computers came in Japan, and animators started using the digital graphics tools like Photoshop and other things to animate and draw. And let's say the Ghibli studio rejected, and plenty of other studios rejected to use it, and they still use the manual painting, very labor-intensive skills to draw the animes. But they've been out of the market in the end. Let's say you want to build a Duolingo app, like a language learning app, and you want to go to some venture capital to get funds for your dream, but nobody will even give it to you, because everybody now can build a Duolingo app just using the Claude Code, Codex, or other AIs that's now on the market. So they can just use this tool and build it. So basically everything what you're building now is very easily copyable. So everybody can copy what you're building, and that's what make it dead. Like, I seen on the internet that open source is dead. I would say software is dead in general, because yeah, you can't build a software that nobody can copy, because now everybody can copy everything. And you can say like, yeah, you can't build a very efficient software, you can't create a good architecture. No, come on, give it 1 year and the AI will build a brilliant architecture, much better than people do. I hope not. But still, even on my job, I'm an employed person, and we start using a lot of AI, and we barely use our hands to write the code. And I know a lot of other people, they don't even write the code. Even in software companies, they just send tasks to AI, and AI write the code for them. So that's the reality what we are facing. And then I see that happens on a side business with the designers who don't need anymore the Figma. So for the Figma, that was a really sad moment when the Claude design has been released. But that's where we are. So that's a reality. And I don't think that this channel I need to publish any new YouTube tutorials about using new programming language. We don't need it anymore. I don't think it will be valuable for you, but I want to post it about my journey. I want to tell you, like in the blogs, what I think, maybe post some of my opinions, and to show what I am doing, because I am trying to do a lot of startups. Since the beginning of my programming career, I trying to build startups, very different ideas, but still startups. That's the main idea. And even in the second part of this video, I will show you one of my latest ideas which failed. So let's move to the second part. Showtime. I all the time been up to security things and cryptography. That's why one of the latest startup that I built, Cat49, is a lightweight security platform for modern apps. Here we go. That's a web page. The basic idea, you're using Auth provider, which is easy, is startup friendly, and it takes only 5 minutes to install it. Very fast, and also it's European friendly. It doesn't matter anymore, but it's based in Europe. That's what we try to propose over the website. And here our comparison with the Auth0 and Clerk, and there is also one of the company work with, they're quite huge. They're providing also, and basically this enterprise grade of authentication. It's quite nice tool to use, so you can integrate with them. Cat49 is much cheaper, European native. Also, the last step we're thinking maybe how to protect the websites against the AI scraping, because a lot of AI now scraping our website for the content, and then the AI companies teach their AI models on our content. And we also added the built-in support for that. Let me show you how it looks like, the basic pricing. We're just thinking about, also by the way, we are supporting role-based access control, so we're back out of the box, basically for free. Yes, you need to install SDK, add show that policy, monitoring, and so on and so on. Some questions. Let me show the code part. It should be somewhere here. Yes. So basically, what you need to do, we also support the OTPs, the profile recoveries, and you can use the protected routes. I hope it's visible. So you have the root, and you use the protected routes like this if you need to protect something. Also, let me show how it looks like. And you can see, for example, the login form. You need to use the Cat49 library, and you can use this library, use Auth, and perform the authentication with this library. And you also can check if the status authenticated, then go in the dashboard. And the same, you can check the next status. If it's OTP, then it's OTP. On the provider level, you just need to use these tags, and these tags will also handle the logic for you, also the token refresher. And you need to create the app ID. Let me show you how it looks like. It should be just dashboard. And here I'll enter my email. Here we go. Now I need to enter my OTP. And my OTP, I am running it 795. 83. Here we go. This is how it looks like. You can create a new application, you set up the name, and here you have the configuration. You can use the MFA type. Now it's only TOTP. Also, you can set the allowed regions, the name of the app, and here you can see the token that I used. So let's run it and I will show you. Oh yeah, by the way, the docs. Sorry, I just interrupted. Look at the docs. They explain it how to use it for many of the languages, including the Spring SDK. And for the Spring SDK, you can read it how to configure it in Spring. Yes, and I deploy the package. Let's check the Maven Central. Basically, I've been Java developer for last 10 years, but I never ever published anything in Java Central. But I do have published my library, but yeah, of course, like this. So it's basically the Auth with the Spring. I need to bring my logotype here, but yeah, it works. So the libraries are published here. You can read how to use them. And it's very simple. With the Spring SDK, that's auto configuration. You just bring only one library and it works out of the box. You just need to set up the keys, but you can provide the configuration from your application.yaml. So it works like this. Let's enter my test email. Already registered. And OTP, I need to enter the OTP. Done. The basic authentication flow. Then let me sign out. And we can also create an account. Again. So here's the email. Yeah, I'll enter the screenshot. With the code that I need to verify. I need. Also, I need to scan the OTP, just the full flow, and it looks quite nice. I've been happy to implementing this type of things, because you learn a lot on the way, and I've been implementing this type of things on my main job. When I've been building a lot of authentication and authorization when integrating with the Microsoft Entra ID, some SAML things. Now I received the email that I am successfully registered. That's quite nice. And also for each user, I do have unique ID. And do you know any ideas what I used? That was a nano ID, because I think nano ID is quite small. And now, of course, I can use something like UUIDs, but internally I'm using UUID version 7 because they can iterate over the database in a chronological order. Then you can implement a very effective pagination because they ordered by time, but they are not good exposing them outside. That's why for outside usage, I am using only the nano ID. They are pretty random and they look much shorter than the large UIDs, which I'm using internally inside of the database. But we found only 24 people in our waitlist after the 1 month, I think even 2 months of trying to find the people who would like to use it in the beginning, and a lot of people comparing us with the clerk, which is reasonable. I should research that first before the building, but I've been enjoying the building this type of things. And across over the internet, you're faced with a lot of startuppers who will tell you never ever build before you check. To me, it seems very reasonable to build this type of tools for the authentication, which looks very lucrative if you think about scaling this on large businesses. But with the startups, yeah, startups don't want to pay, they want to use it for free. Even I want to use it for free and they don't want to pay, isn't it? That's who we are. That's why Auth0 and Clerk, they moved in the upper branches and they never ever stayed in somewhere below, because startuppers and the small businesses, they are not paying a lot, at least if you don't have millions of them or at least thousands of them. And then you can be successful with that. That was the latest startup, which is failed. I would say it has failed for now. And let's see what I invented in the future. And I'm thinking here I will be posting only some topics about this stuff, maybe about the books, about the journey. Maybe I will show you something outside of this room, what happens in the wild, right? See you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video.